Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Southern Wealth. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you did something for Halloween, just like I did. I think I drank a little bit too much last night, so the energy is a bit low on this side, but I did have a lot of fun. So I do expect and I do hope that you guys also managed to enjoy quite a nice, relaxing time. Now, to kick off, I would ask if you could drop that like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. I am planning a live stream on Wednesday about the same time as the previous one, so I'll be trying to do these live streams more, at least always around the same time and the same day. So the next one will come on Wednesday. Now let's go to stocks first. Stocks are still heavily dependent on what bonds are doing, so anything that throws the bonds out of whack will impact us quite aggressively. So on the stock market as well. I do think crypto is entering its own cycle, so it's basically depegging or decorrelating from almost everything. One of the funniest things is gold crossed $2,000, and I need to make a little side note here, because Peter Schiff is saying that this may be the last time we've seen gold below 2,000, like forever. In case you guys don't know, he says this all the time. Every time gold crossed 2,000, he would throw these big parties. Now, where is this disingenuous? Because if you look at this tweet and this podcast, is basically trying to push you to shift gold constantly, is that he looks at everything inflation adjusted. So inflation adjusted means real terms, and nominal terms means just the number of something. So for example, let's say the S&P hits a new all-time high today, and then in 1 year's time it's 10% higher. Nominally it's 10% higher, but if inflation was 10% during the same period, then in real terms we didn't go anywhere. We are in the same place that we were. For you to have an idea, for gold to top, to have a new all-time high in real terms versus 2011, you need gold, and these are the government numbers, by the way. These are not even the real numbers, because the government numbers are understated. You need gold to go to 2,500, 2,600, around that, in order to actually have a new real all-time high. And if you compare it to 1980, okay, you need gold to go to about 3,320 for it to break even the all-time high of the 1980s. Now, Peter Schiff talks about everything, inflation adjusted, and real terms, except the gold price. Why? Because if he does it, he needs to say this, that gold is down 45% today versus 1980 in real terms, after record decades of money printing. Think about it. But he cannot tell you that, because otherwise you won't buy his funds or his gold. In any case, stocks, as I mentioned, S&P 500, 4,200 to 4,600 is the range that we've been. If sometimes we've been a bit above, we can be a bit below, but this week would be very important to start moving us into the higher parts of the channel. Otherwise, we can experience some further downward prices going forward. I did mention something that was not 100% correct. So it's true that we did have crashes in election years, 2000, 2008. What I meant is in re-election years in which the incumbent on the Federal Reserve is the same than the current runner for re-election. So in this case, Powell was there when Biden came in and will be there when Biden goes for re-election. And in that scenario, it's very hard to find a period where you can get the same president, basically have the same president re-elected, and have a downward year in terms of stock market performance. It's just a statistical thing. 2008, we were changing presidents, of course, because Bush had served 2 terms. And in 2000, we just had the impeachment of Clinton, and we were going Bush versus Al Gore, if I remember correctly. So it's a bit of a different situation. So what I'm trying to say is when you go for re-election with same Fed chairman, same president, very rarely you're going to have a down year, okay? I mean, not even in 2020, where everything was happening, you still managed to get a positive year by the end. Now, going into crypto, Bitcoin is holding very well above 34,500, which is good. There was an exchange where we touched the 32,000, which was a number that I was looking at 3 or 4 days ago. We moved higher. This was something I wanted to see. Again, 42, 45K are the numbers to see for the next 60 to 90 days. So it doesn't mean right now, but we should be going into that direction. Pulse Chain PLSX had some good retracement back from the recent rally that we just had. This is a healthy movement. I think we should see most likely a green week this week. By the way, there's been $1.5 billion in stablecoin in funds moving into Binance and other exchanges, and I think that $1.5 billion is about to be deployed into the crypto world, and we're starting to see these flushes of income. So, for example, I was actually buying crypto over the weekend. I bought in 2 big tranches, and I had delays on both of them exactly for a huge demand that has been seen as of recent. But in any case, you would see this larger 1.5 billion volumes coming into exchanges, and it should be coming into exchanges in order for us to see the cycle repeat, which is at the moment where we are. Then there's a statistics that came out that is very telling about the problems of money and why we need crypto. Our internet, in a sense, is something like this. Our internet made up imaginary money is better than the government's internet made up imaginary money. That's it. At the end of the day, that's everything there is. And the S&P 500 in the last 70 years, 70, were up 76-fold. 76-fold. 76 times. Money supply went up 66-fold. So out of this huge rally in the S&P 500, 85-90% of it came for increasing the money supply. Now, in case you don't understand why this is relevant because if you own stocks and real estate, and the people who own all the stocks and real estate are in the top 20%, you've done well. You've kept up with the currency devaluation, you've kept up with the money supply, and you even made some extra. For the people who basically live paycheck to paycheck, cannot accumulate enough money to save, they've been left behind. And when people ask, why do we have such a wealth gap? Yeah, because now it's basically what we've been seeing in history, but on steroids. So the more we are the money supply and the S&P 500 at the moment have a correlation of 99%, which is absolutely crazy. And this is why we need money that can be accessible to everyone, money that can save people in countries less fortunate than ours, but also ours. And that is something that I would like to see in the new cycle, is the adoption of more countries, adoption of Bitcoin or adoption of other crypto in more countries than El Salvador. I would like to see it maybe in Argentina, in Nigeria, in Mexico. I'm not saying that it's going to happen in all of them. I'm saying that at least in a couple of them, I would like to see that. as people finally and hopefully will be liberated. And I do believe that crypto is one of the few areas that can really change man's relationship with governments, that can protect some of our rights. Well, that used to be rights. Nowadays, they mean nothing, like privacy, anonymity, freedom to transact, etc. I mean, none of this is respected anymore. And when you look at these statistics going back 70 years is not that long. I mean, my grandmother is older than that. My father is not too far away from that. So, I mean, it makes you think, right? How many people get destroyed in this little game played by governments? That's why money, in order to not be abused and to be on the end and to be as, if you want, for lack of a better word, as clean as possible. You cannot have it in the control of a few people or one single government or one single country, because this power will get abused. This is why the US dollar is the 5th reserve currency, not the first, and it won't be the last. So in any case, guys, just a little reflection, a little food for thought for the end of the weekend. I hope that you guys have a nice week, that everything goes well on you. And yeah, let's see if things keep on moving into the right direction. I do think November will be probably an extremely good month in terms of good news. You'll see if I'm right. So thank you very much for your support, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget, live stream Wednesday. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much, guys.